Yo, what's good? It's your man 100 Grand Ross with The Rock Never Stops. The Detroit Pistons are brewing something special. If you can't see it by now, I don't know what to tell you. Last night against the Cleveland Cavaliers, the red-hot Cleveland Cavaliers, the Detroit Pistons put up an incredible fight. And I want to dive into what I saw in this game. If you enjoyed the video, smash that like button for me, hit subscribe and the bell for notifications. I really do appreciate all the love and support, y'all. Let me just start off by saying, now can you understand why Troy Weaver has been trying to put together a bunch of big men who could work together, who can compete in this division? Whether it's against the Cleveland Cavaliers or the Milwaukee Bucks, you are going to need size, a lot of size in order to compete. And when you have this much size in your own division, in your own backyard, teams that you're going to face, 6 times a year? 6 or more times a year, right? You're going to have to make sure that you can compete with them far more than you're going to worry about the Denver Nuggets, who you're going to only play twice, right? Or the Golden State Warriors or somebody out west, right? You have to be able to win your division if you are going to be a competitive team in the NBA. And this is why Troy Weaver has been trying to bring in a bunch of young, talented big men, whether it was Marvin Bagley, whether it was what's his name, who they just shipped out, the shooter, right? James Wiseman, Jalen Duren, right? Isaiah Stewart. Everybody was laughing at him saying like, yo, you guys are grabbing all these big men for what? You guys got 25 centers on this team. Now you see why. Because despite having Duren, despite having Isaiah Stewart, despite having James Wiseman, right? They still got out-rebounded by Evan Mobley and Jared Allen. And when you look at the damage that they were able to do, especially on the offensive glass, you begin to realize that they have to be prepared for that. And I think to an extent they were. If they didn't get into the foul trouble, I think it would have evened out far more. But I want to dive into more of what I saw in this game. Look, let's just be clear. Monty Williams is doing a great job. The fact that he came into a situation that he thought was going to be a lot different, right? He saw the veterans on the team, and he thought these veterans were going to be able to sustain the play that he understands is needed to make the playoffs. He thought he was going to be getting young talent who were going to be ready to make the leap, but he wasn't going to be dependent upon that young talent, and he was. All the injuries early on put them behind the 8 ball in a major way. Then with all the trades recently, now you're kind of restarting, and we're seeing that. But despite all of that, you still see considerable leaps being taken place by Cade Cunningham, Jaden Ivey, Jalen Duren, Isaiah Stewart, Asar Thompson. And these were the things that I was really watching. Could Asar Thompson continue to develop as a shooter? We all know that there's coaches out there like Tom Thibodeau. Look, if you don't come in as a known shooter, you don't get better as a shooter. You come in and you leave with what you were. There is no development with a Tom Thibodeau. And yet you have somebody like Monty Williams who's coming in trying to compete. And despite Asar Thompson coming in with a really shaky jump shot, and that's just being kind to say it's shaky, suspect, almost null and void, right? And yet in this game, he hits 2 of 3. It would have been 2 of 2 if he didn't take the last second heave when they were already down 10 and it didn't matter anymore, right? But you love the level of confidence that you saw Asar Thompson shooting with. Not only that, but he's also shooting in that mid-range because he's recognizing he can get to the paint whenever he wants. He's so quick and so strong and athletic, he can get to spots whenever he decides he wants to get there. And even if a guy overplays, he has that quick spin back to the other direction that allows him to continue to make his way into the paint. This type of athleticism you really don't see too often. This is the Jonathan Kumingas, the Paul Georges. These are those quick twitch and powerful athletes that are really hard to come by. And I think I've said it before. Look, if Asar Thompson develops a jump shot, and I mean a high-level jump shot, shooting over 36% from 3, taking, 5+ attempts a game, you're looking at a potential superstar. Period. That type of athleticism, that type of skill, his ability to facilitate, play make, attack the basket off the dribble, hit the offensive glass, his verticality, right? All these different things set him apart in so many ways already. With a jump shot, he essentially becomes unstoppable. But I don't want to stop there. Isaiah Stewart, 4 of 7 from three. With Isaiah Stewart able to continue to shoot that ball confidently from the three-point line, it changes how we look at him. And I've said this the whole season. I said if he is going to be a stretch four who can play inside and out, stay aggressive offensively attacking the basket, hit the glass, defend the rim, and shoot threes, he's your starting power forward. If he stops shooting threes, you cannot play him at power forward. And so when we see in this game that all of a sudden that second half, he was like, oh yeah, I'm supposed to be doing this, and he starts knocking down threes, it completely changed the game. It changed how they had to guard on the perimeter. It changes the openings that you have on this team. Now, I also love that he was also attacking the basket off the dribble. I thought that was a part of his offensive game that really opened things up. Because when teams are worried about Duren, when they're worried about Asar, when they're worried about Ivy and Cade, and he's able to attack your probably least defensive player, right? It creates so many more wrinkles to this offensive system that's going to open things up in a tremendous way. Jalen Duren, of course, we see the incredible footwork around the rim, his touch, his explosiveness, his finishing. And the more and more reps that he gets within this starting lineup, the more you're going to see this chemistry really begin to maximize the potential of this starting unit. Now, Jaden Ivey and Cade Cunningham struggled a bit from the field. They shot 35 and 31% from the field, respectively. Jaden Ivey hit 1 of 9 from 3. Cade Cunningham, 2 of 8. I'll say this much. The Cleveland Cavaliers have an elite defense. We know that. They're one of the top defenses in the NBA, especially when Isaac Okoro is hitting his threes. When he's hitting his threes, along with Max Strus, and you got Evan Mobley and Jarrett Allen, they shut down most teams all night long. And so you have to anticipate that your stars may struggle, and they did. But I will say kudos to them for actually contributing in other areas. Cade Cunningham had 10 assists, could have easily been more. Jaden Ivey had 4. Each of them only had 1 turnover. That's progress, y'all. Not to mention, Jaden Ivey, 5 of 6 from the free throw line. Cade Cunningham, 7 of 7. When they can get to the free throw line consistently, and you're seeing Jaden Ivey, his handle and his rhythm off the bounce improving to such a rate. I don't know if y'all caught that change of direction when he drove to the basket against Darius Garland. He was bringing it up the court full speed, and then he switched and went through the legs, almost like that Tim Hardaway, quick, through the legs and hit the other direction and went to the rim. If he can master that, he's going to be scary because his top end speed that he's able to get to so quickly, if he can change directions on a dime like that, it's going to open up so many things for him in terms of playmaking and ability to create his own shot. But on the rougher side, this bench unit is struggle. Big time struggle. Without my man Marcus Sasser leading the way, this bench unit struggles to be able to put up points. I'm so glad in the second half they just went away from Malachi Flynn entirely. He's been a net zero almost every single time. Even when he looks like he kind of has it going, he doesn't. At this point, I don't think he's an NBA player. It doesn't mean that he's not talented, that he's not good. If he's in the G League, he's probably going to tear it up. If he goes overseas, he's playing in the Euro League, he's probably going to tear it up, right? If he goes to Australia, China, he's going to look amazing. But in the best league in the world, he's just not him. And so they really need to get Marcus Sasser back. I wouldn't mind actually if they go with a Shake Milton over a Malachi Flynn at this point. Shoot, even a Troy Brown, because at least those guys give you defense at a high level. They have great positional size, right, at 6'5" and 6'7", respectively. But until then, this bench unit, it really did hold them back. Them not being able to find a groove, execute offense, and at least be able to maintain what the starting unit was able to do. But all in all, when you saw this game, this was a game that you were able to see the Detroit Pistons starting lineup prove that they can compete with just about anybody. That starting lineup, that level of defense, physicality, ability to get out into transition, especially when Cade is out in transition with Ivy and Asar and Duren, that just looked unstoppable. Literally unstoppable. No one staying in front of them. No one. And that was something I've been saying from the beginning of the season. And when you see how you're able to get 3-point shooting from Asar and Isaiah Stewart, that was just something that it was a bonus that I don't think you were banking on. But if you can get all these pieces clicking together, and this is really where I'm coming to, when you can get all the pieces in this starting unit clicking, and you get back a Marcus Sasser, you see James Wiseman improving in terms of hanging on to the ball when he's rebounding, especially on the offensive glass. When you see guys like Fournier and Fontecchio finding their spots, when Grimes can start knocking down his open looks, you're going to start seeing an incredibly dangerous team. And I'm excited for it. I'm excited. But as always, I want to know what you all think. If you agree, disagree, what did you notice that maybe I didn't mention? Holla at me in the comment section. Like, subscribe, and hit that bell for notifications. And I'm going to get at y'all next time. Peace.